Timothy, for that. Now that the Education Ministry and by extension the government have come to an agreement with the Teachers Union, let's now try and demystify for you what this education system, what this new education system is all about. And we're going to do that shortly, of course, by use of illustrations. I'm going to take you slowly, step by step. And basic education will now be organized into 3 levels. So there's the early years education, middle school education, as well as the senior school education. Allow me to begin with the early years education, and this is composed of pre-primary as well as the lower primary level. Now, the pre-primary is 2 years. That is pre-primary 1 and pre-primary 2. This is what used to be called, nursery schools. Those who've been calling it KG1 and KG2. Now it will be called pre-primary 1 and pre-primary 2. Now, over to the second stage of the early years education, that is the lower primary, and it has 3 years, and it's been divided into 3 levels. That is grade 1, grade 2, as well as grade 3. Now, after that, a learner, of course, he or she will now cross over to the second stage, that is the middle school education. Now, this is where a learner goes through upper primary, which has 3 years, and it's composed of grade 4, grade 5, as well as grade 6. Now, after that, a learner crosses over to lower secondary. This is another 3 years of thorough learning. This is where learners are exposed to, different kind of broad-based kind of a curriculum, and it's 3 years. That is from grade 7, 8, as well as grade 9. Now, over to the final bit of the basic education. This is, of course, the senior school education. This marks the end of the basic education. This is where now a learner specializes, and they have a choice. There is about 3 of them. They can either choose to do arts and sports science, or social sciences, or they can as well choose to go through a system called STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. This, of course, the senior school lays the foundation for further education for learners over to, tertiary schools, or up until when they get to work, basically. Now, let's take a look at the rollout plan. How is the Education Ministry planning to roll out this new kind of curriculum? That is a question many people have been asking. Of course, the year 2018, now this year, will mark the beginning of phase 2 pilot in pre-primary. That is, of course, both pre-primary 1 and 2, as well as grade 1 and 2. They'll also begin pilot of grade 3, but this will only take place in selected schools. And then in the year 2019, that is next year, that is when now the government will officially begin to roll out from pre-primary up to grade 4. I believe grade 4 is in the middle, that's the beginning of the middle school education. Now, by the year 2020, 2 years from now, they'll begin rolling out from grade 5. Now, let's take a look at how they're going to implement the new curriculum after that. From the year 2021 over to the year 2027, there'll be the yearly rollout of grade 6 up to grade 12. And then by the year 2025, the first group joins grade 10, that is senior school. And then this is where a child also chooses 1 out of 3 learning areas that I've already illustrated earlier. That is, they're going to choose either between arts and sports sciences. They can also either choose to, focus on social sciences, or science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and what the Education Ministry has now given a short form. They're referring to it as STEM. Now, by the year 2027, the first group of the new education system will get to complete the basic education. And that is now when the old system 844 by then will be totally put aside, and the new system 2633 will take over. Now, over to a question so many people have been asking, and this has everything to do with the curriculum itself, or the subjects. And now, in pre-primary learning areas, that is the first 2 years, pre-primary 1 and pre-primary 2, this is what learners are going to be trained. They're going to be trained on language activities, mathematical activities, environmental activities, psychomotor and creative activities, as well as religious education activities. Now, over to lower primary learning areas. This is just the bit where the government is going to roll out this year. And this is what they're going to be taught in school. Basically, these are the subjects in lower primary learning areas. This is literacy, indigenous languages, Kiswahili language activities, English language activities, mathematical activities, and then there's environmental activities, hygiene and nutrition activities, religious education activities, as well as movement and creative activities. These are fairly new kind of subjects that are introduced by the Ministry of Education.